Hi, Year 6. If you're watching this, you're doing your lesson all about chronology in ancient Greece. And we're going to start off with a kind of mini lesson, just refreshing our memories, or for some of us, it might be learning what is chronology and what are some of these keywords and definitions. So, in simple terms, chronology is putting things into the correct time order. What happened first, what happened second, and what happened third, and so on. Obviously, really important in history because it's all about studying the past and understanding how one event led to another and so on. So you should be able to define the terms AD and BC. You should be able to put dates in chronological order, all right, either as a group or individually, probably individually if you're watching this video. And then also you might even be confident using some alternative terms for BC and AD as well. So here's a little challenge for you. There are some dates on here. Okay, they're also using some of our keywords. So one of the dates has got BC written after it. The other ones don't have anything, but you can assume they'd also be AD. All right, and the challenge is, could you put those dates into order, starting with the first or the oldest, and then coming all the way down to the most recent date. Okay, we'll check your answers in just a second. So if you are watching it, you can pause the video, have a go writing them down 1 to 5. Start with the oldest, go to the most recent, and then you can check your answers in just a moment. Okay, Year 6, so hopefully you have something that looks like this. I've put them onto a line, starting on the left with the oldest event, 32,000 BC, coming all the way up to 2011 AD, with the other events in the correct time order or chronological order in between. And just to make it make a bit more sense, I've put the year 0 on there as well with a blue arrow. We'll have a think about what those keywords mean as well as year 0 next. All right, let's have a read of some of these definitions. It'll help us understand why these dates are where they are. The middle one, the white box, says year 0 represents the birth of Jesus Christ. It's true, the dates that we refer to often are actually, they come from the Christian calendar, they come from the old Roman Empire, and they use the year 0 to try to represent any event that either came before or after the birth of Jesus Christ. If we do the red box first, it says events before year 0 are labelled BC, which means before Christ. Okay, so there's a reference to the birth of Jesus Christ. Before Christ. Now these dates are a bit different to what you might expect, okay, because they count backwards. So for example, 60 BC means 60 years before Christ, whereas the pink box, 32,000 BC, is actually 32,000 years before the year 0. So it actually occurred before. All right, so think of those numbers working backwards a little bit. Whereas after the year 0, your numbers work exactly as they would as if you're in a maths lesson. All right, so events after year 0 are labelled AD, okay, which means Anno Domini, or in the year of our Lord. All right, so again, another kind of religious reference there. We live in 2020 at the moment, 2020 AD. All right, but we don't actually refer to it as AD because we're just a bit lazy. Maybe we're just a bit more casual than that. So because we're not talking about before the year 0, we usually don't say AD, but you might see it written down in places like history textbooks. So 500 AD is the first event, and then about 500 years later is 1066 AD. Okay, so we wouldn't say 1000, we would say 1066. Okay, if it was, for example, a year during the Reformation, that would be 1517, all right, when Martin Luther hammered up his theses in Germany. And like I said there, if it's 2020, then again, you wouldn't say, you could say 2020 for the 2000s, but you can also say 2020 as well. So there you are. That's the basics of chronology. Have a go now at doing the questions before you find out more about ancient Greek families.